Myself, Manglarthi, Kevin Sherry.
Namo Loye Savayantanam, Namo Loye Savasidanam, Namo Loye Savayiriyam, Namo Loye Savujayam, Namo Loye Savatrikavati Savanam, Omkara Mindu Sanyukta Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamada Mokshadam Chey Omkaraya Namo Mangalam Bhagavanayo Mangalam Mangalam Kuntundari Ujendra Bosu Mangalam Namah Samaysar. Swanubhutya Sakasti Swadhay Bhavaya Vivaha Nirusanidata.
Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ariyantanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ojjayanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityandayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Cheva Omkaraya Namo Namah. Nama Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Ajnanatimirandhanam Jnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Karo Jagatana Jaivantavarto Omkaranad Jinano Jaivantavarto Jinna Samo Sarana Sau Jaivantavarto Netirthachara Jagama Jaivantavarto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangaryotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Divyano Jina Kunda Dvaniya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupamagati Pamel Sarve Sidane Vandi Kaho Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabhrata Are Om Ekasuddha Sadha Arupi Jnana Darshanamay Khare Kayanyate Maru Jari Paramanu Matra Nathi Are Jam Netrate Maj Jnana Nathi Karaka Nathi Vedak Are Jane Jakara Modaya Nirajara Bandate Maj Mokshane. Om Namah Siddhebhyo. Om Namah Siddhebhyo. Om Sri Swadhay. Jai Jindra. Today is December 14, 2016, Wednesday, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar. And we are, for last several classes, we are discussing about the Naya, partial point of view. What are these partial point of view? We have gone through conventional point of view in great detail because they need lot more time for explanation purpose. Today we'll be talking about the absolute point of view, and idea is to finish those 4 parts of the absolute point of view probably today. Remember, partial point of view or Naya, it depends what perspective we are using. One thing is there in front of us, and it depends on what perspective we use, and the different meaning will come out. Simple example. I am the father. What perspective? From my son's perspective. I'm the son. What perspective? From my father's perspective. So, same thing can be seen from 2 different angles also, and that can also be, that is also part of the partial point of view. The reason I'm stressing that point, because what we are going to talk today then you're going to raise the question in your mind that, wait a second, we already talked this one last week or week before. Yes, we have done those things, but it's a different perspective we are looking. Until now, when we talk about conventional point of view, means we made two major divisions in that. One, when I have the unity with the alien objects of the universe, that was one perspective. And second one we used was in the indivisible substance to create division. So those two things we stopped and we made the convention point of view. Now in the absolute point of view, what happens? We are taking into account about the way things are. In convention point of view, we were kind of imagining some relationship. My house, my family, my car, my body, and all those things. Here, there's no imagination. It's things which is present in a given substance. Thing which is present in a given substance, and that's what we are going to talk about it. So when we talk about absolute point of view, means, for example, if we take rag and dvesh, if we take inclination of attachment and inclination of aversion, rag and dvesh is over here, but can be seen from two different angles. One from conventional perspective and one from the absolute perspective. How? If I believe that rag and dvesh occur within me because I had an alien attention drawn to me. I drew my attention to the alien objects of the universe. Because I drew the attention to the alien objects of the universe means I came out of my innate nature, and so I accuse the alien objects of the universe as an instigator for this rag and dvesh. And so we call that one a conventional point of view. Now we are taking second perspective. That rag and dvesh occurred in me as a soul. It didn't happen in this scissor. It didn't happen in this phone. It didn't happen in this pen. It happened in me as a soul. So that's why it is also called absolute point of view. So here when we talk about four divisions of absolute point of view, mainly this inclination of attachment and aversion, rag and dvesh, are the main culprit which can raise question in our mind. So here in absolute point of view, we take the ownership of this rag and dvesh. I am the instigator to create rag and dvesh. I am the reason that rag and dvesh occurred to me. So those are the questions that will come in your mind at the end of the class, but that's what the clarification I'm doing ahead of the time. So we are talking four different things in this absolute point of view. What are those four things? Impure, well, let me just put the slide so that way it becomes easier. Share screen, share screen, share screen. Okay, so we are going to talk first Asuddha Nishchayani, impure absolute point of view. Then we are going to talk about Ekdesh Shuddhani, absolute partial point of view. Then we are going to talk about Suddha Nishchayani, pure absolute point of view. And then last we are going to talk is Param Suddha Nishchayani Naya, for the supreme pure eternal soul substance. So these four things, of course, we have done the definitions and everything in great detail. That's why there is no need to have all those things start again, because we already know those definitions. So now we are coming to Asuddha Nishchayani. What I'm just going to make it bigger so that way it becomes easier to see. Traction, protection, macro view, zone. Okay, so now we are talking. Oh, what happened? What happened to? Okay. So we are talking about Asuddha Nishchayani. What is the Nishchayani means? It is occurring in a given substance, and here instead of substance we'll just say in the soul. So it is occurring in the soul, but it's an impure form. So it's an impure absolute point of view. What's the subject of this Asuddha Nishchayani? Remember last week or week before we talked about Upcharit Sadbhut Vyavarnai. Upcharit Sadbhut Vyavarnai we talk. It is same as Asuddha Nishchayani. Now, why? Because in Asuddha Nishchayani there is impurity occurring in the soul. And how does the impurity occur? Because soul has a Kshapshamik and Audayik Bhav. And those are the words came before. Soul has some purity of the knowledge, etc. And there is also fruition of the karma, and as a result, this soul has certain inclinations. So these are the reasons for creating impure absolute point of view. Every substance is independent and perform its good or bad act without help from any alien objects. Every substance does their own work, doesn't depend on any alien objects at all. I did rag and dvesh because of my liking, because of my doing. Nobody instigated me to do it. I did because of me only. So the soul is responsible for its own deed. Here the subject matter is impure mode of the soul, like wrong belief, rag and dvesh, etc. So wrong belief means mithyatva, inclination of attachment and aversion, that is called rag and dvesh. So subject matter is mithyatva and rag and dvesh. So this is my subject. What happens in this one? When inclination of attachment and aversion occurs, then I'm responsible, and karma fruition is no reason for this impure state. Sure, karma fruition is there, but remember, karma fruition can be there, but it's me drawing attention to the karma fruition is a reason for my inclination of attachment and aversion. So I'm responsible for creating this state. This Naya therefore accepts inclination of attachment and aversion as belonging to soul itself. It says that this, for example, I had an abscess on the hand. That abscess occurred because some bacteria came, but bacteria comes to everybody. But my immune system was down, and that's why I end up getting the abscess. So I am the reason for this abscess, not anything else. So here also, inclination of attachment and aversion, rag and dvesh, belongs to me. See, in Samaysar, it will say that rag dvesh belongs to alien objects. Rag dvesh are called pudgal. Why? Number one, rag and dvesh does not have consciousness, and that's why they are non-living. Rag and dvesh occurs only when I have my attention drawn to the fruition of the karma. If I don't bring attention to the fruition of karma, then there is no rag and dvesh. So I am the reason. So inclusion of attachment and aversion belongs to me. But Samaysar, because Samaysar talks about the pure, perfect, eternal soul substance only as its own. So rest of the things becomes kind of alien objects into the Samaysar language. But here we have to accept that rag and dvesh, inclusion of attachment and aversion, occurred in me and I am the responsible. So this is not the Samaysar language in which I accept rag and dvesh as mine. So language can be anyone, but we have to understand the reality. The same abscess belongs to me, but I don't need it. I don't want to keep it. I want to throw it away. I want to take an antibiotic. I want to have the cut, make the cut and take the abscess out and everything. So even though it is within me, I need to take it out. And that's why it doesn't belong to me. So two different perspectives we can see this rag dvesh. With this Naya, there is fulfillment of inflow, bondage, auspicious and inauspicious inclination elements. Now, when we talk about 9 reals, living, non-living, inclination of, auspicious inclination, inauspicious inclination, inflow, bondage, shading, stoppage of karma, shading, and liberation. So there are 9 elements are there. 9 elements are occurring within me, out of which this Asuddha Nishchayana, here belongs, and it just it fulfills the inflow and bondage and auspicious, inauspicious inclination. Means 4 reals of the 4 elements of these out of 9 elements are part of this 9. How to accept it? Once I start taking responsibility that I am the responsible for my inclination of attachment and aversion, nobody else is. I cannot blame other people. There was a banana peel on the road and I'm walking and I fell down. Whom do I blame to? The person who threw the banana peel on the road, or me who was careless, not looking around properly? So now here I start taking responsibility that I am problem. It is because of me this thing is happening. Material karma, quasi karma, like physical body, are not responsible for my deeds. For my misdeeds, they are not responsible. I am the responsible party. So that way I accepted this. How do I discard that one? Because I want to go further. So modes occur within me and I'm going to give up my impure mode and will put my personal effort of creating pure mode. Now I come to understand that all these impure modes are occurring because of me, because of my alien attachment, alien attention. So now I give up that alien attention, look within me. When I look within me, then there is nothing but purity and joy and bliss present. There is no room for inclination of attachment and aversion. So by doing that way, I discard this Naya. Benefit of knowing, I end up taking responsibility of my own deeds. I'm responsible, and if I'm miserable, it's because of me. Nobody is making me miserable. So that way, I end up learning it. What happens if I don't accept this Naya? There are several points. They are very simple, and I think you already have gone through it at home. We can just read it out. If suppose I don't accept this Naya at all, and I say, I don't want to accept this Naya, then he will have a great perplexity. He will be having akulta. One will consider the alien things to be beneficial or detrimental to him. Now, because I don't accept my own responsibility, so I just say everybody's problem. Because of him it happened, because of her it happened, because of this situation happened. I blame the whole world. There is no existence of, and when I don't accept, that means there is no auspicious, inauspicious inclination and influence bondage elements. Out of 9 elements that we describe, this 9 belongs to those 4 things that are auspicious, inauspicious inclination, influence bondage. Shubh bhav, ashubh bhav, asrav, and bandh. So then I don't accept those things. In Samaysar 13th Gatha, when we come, Samaysar will say those 9 elements are there. And out of those 9 elements, I have to give up everything and then concentrate on my eternal soul substance. So by not accepting, we are taking 4 things out which are part of the deal. Absence of this element means if I don't believe in Shubh and Ashubh Bhav, if I don't believe in Asra and Bandh, then why should I do Tattva Gnan? Why should I do Tattva Nirnay? Why should I make myself suffer for all this complicated scriptural thing? So then I will stop believing those things. So as a result, there is no need to perform any religious activity. Just eat, drink, and be merry, and that's it. That doesn't happen though. So I have accepted this Nai, and as a result, I accepted these 4 things happening, 4 elements occurring within me, and this is Asuddha Nishchayane, means inclination of attachment and aversion are my own creation, and nobody is asking me to do that. So this is one part of the Nishchayane that we learn. Now we go to Ek Desh Shuddha Nishchayane. Ek Desh Shuddha Nishchayane. What happens here? Now, in this Nai, there is a partial point of view showing partial purity of a mode. We understand the hierarchy. We know that by putting attention to the alien objects creates rag and dvesh. So now I redirect my attention to my eternal soul substance. When I do that, then there's a partial purity of the mode occurs. Means I'm on a 4th spiritual development stage. Means I have I'll just take 1 second, please. Hello. पवन भाई, मैं आधे घंटे में फोन करूँ आपको? मैं क्लास में हूँ अभी. Okay, thanks, bye. So when I bring my attention to the eternal soul substance and I give up my attention from the alien objects of the universe, then partial purity starts occurring within me, and that is called Samyak Darshan, that is called Atma Darshan, that is called self-realization, that is called Samkit, whatever name you want to give it. So Ek Desh Shuddha name means my purity starts. Impurity is gone now. So this is Ek Desh Shuddha name means partial purity. So at 4th Gunsthanak, my purity starts. And on the 12th Gunsthanak, my purity becomes, I become completely pure. Completely pure means I have no alien attachment of deluding karma at all. All my deluding karma are totally get wiped out from me. And I have a perfect conduct occurs within me. So subject of this night is a 4th to 10th Gunsthana. After 10th, the 12th Gunsthana comes, and on 12th Gunsthana, there's a purity occurs. So this night hangs around from 4th to 10th spiritual level. Now, what happens? I accept partial purity of the mode and makes associated inclination of attachment secondary. Remember, in this partial purity, Ekdesh Shuddhan is partial purity, means there is a partial purity and there is still partial impurity present. But I make this partial purity as a principle, and associated rag and dvesh, which are kind of very minuscule right now, I make them secondary, and gradually they start going away as I progress into the further spiritual development stage. So ragadi bhav becomes secondary. This is a right fade state. This is called samyak darshan state. How to accept it? Well, I give up. First, I accept that rag and dvesh occurs within me. It's my fault. But now I just say, but that is not my true nature. My true nature is eternal soul substance. So that way I accepted this Naya. How do I discard? When I become more and more engrossed into my eternal soul substance, then increasing purity occurs, and that's way I am accepting this Naya, and I'm giving the rag and dvesh, I'm keep on discarding them. So this kind of thing happens. Then ultimately, what's the benefit? I like more and more of my eternal soul substance. I become engrossed further in this eternal soul substance. And once I keep going inside, that means my rag dvesh becomes less and less and less and less in nature. So this kind of thing happens in the Ekdesh Shuddha Nishchayani. Now we come to the Suddha Nishchayani. Suddha Nishchayani means what? Suddha Nishchayani means I have a complete purity in my mode. Complete purity occurs in my mode. Complete purity occurs within my mode, and at this time, I am on 13th and 14th Gunsthanak. I am at 13th and 14th Gunsthanak, and that is the subject of this Naya, what happens in that one. And this Naya is therefore included in the liberation element. In the liberation means moksha. In the previous one, in the Ekdesh Shuddha Nishchayani, it was helping me to know Samvara and Nirjara, because they are increasing purity. First thing, let's go again, one step back. Asuddha Nishchayani told us that it has relationship with the Punya Bhav, auspicious inclination, Pap Bhav, inauspicious inclination, inflow means ashrav, and bondage means bandh. So Asuddha Nishchayani has a relationship with those four elements. Ekdesh Shuddha Nishchayani had a relationship with the Samvar and Nirjara. And while we come to this Shuddha Nishchayani, it includes in the liberation element, moksha element. So when we are going from Asuddha Nishchayani, we are growing up further, then my partial purity occurs, Punya, Pap, Asra, Bandh, they disappear, Samvar Nira starts, and Shuddha Nishchayani ultimately takes me to the liberation moksha element, moksha tattva. How to accept it? Get engrossed within my own self. That's it. I don't have any other attachment, alien belonging, nothing. The soul is on 13th Gunsthanak, and for example, Mahavir Swami at the age of 42 obtained omniscience. So he was on 13th Gunsthanak. He remained in that Gunsthanak for 30 years and gave the preachings. And on 14th Gunsthanak is a very fraction of second. It lasts for about very minimal time. And in that one, living being end up giving up physical body and everything, and soul thereafter goes to Adobhi of Siddha. So this one happens. Remember, this thing again is a Shuddha Nishchayani, pure absolute point of view. This is a complete pure mode. This is complete pure means we are talking mode right now. We are talking parya right now. And then last thing we are going to go is going to go to the Param Suddha Nishchay. Param Suddha Nishchay means what? This is Param Suddha Nishchay is the most important thing that we have to learn, because ultimately that is our resting place. Out of all the night that we talk, this is the one that we are going to, it's a resting space for a place for us. Why? It's a night for the supreme, pure, eternal soul substance. This is the eternal soul substance comes in the picture. A Suddha Nishchay nahi, ek de Suddha Nishchay nahi, Suddha Nishchay nahi, all those three were from the modal perspective. They are quote unquote transient in nature. But this is the pure Suddha Nishchay is a supreme, pure, eternal soul substance. It is the direction, attention is focused on this one, and now I'm engrossed with that, and that's all I see, nothing else I'm seeing, nothing else I'm feeling. So, what's the subject? Eternal, pure, inert, pure nature of the soul substance is the subject of this Naya. The subject is the eternal true nature of the self, which by itself is knower, means gnay, trustworthy with Swadhay, and object of meditation means they. Gnay, Swadhay, and they. Gnay means knower, means knowledge, knowledge perspective. Trustworthy means faith perspective. And object of meditation is from conduct perspective. So knowledge, faith, and conduct, they become one, and they become inseparable from the eternal soul substance. So that's what happens in this night. What happens? There are few adjectives that we are going to throw in this one. Gurudev Sri has given fantastic lecture series in Samaysar stanza 320. 320 Samaysar stanza is the ultimate gatha anybody ever can go through it about the eternal soul substance. What happens here? This Naya says that from innate substance perspective, I am God. I am the God. Gurudev has a manglik. In that manglik it says, Tu Paramatma che em nakki kar. Tu Paramatma che em nakki kar. Then one of the listeners says, Prabhu, आप परमात्मा से तुमने नक्की करवा दो, नहीं, तू परमात्मा से हम नक्की कर. निज परमात्मा द्रव्यनी अपेक्षा थी, means I am the ultimate God. I am the pure, perfect soul. I have now attention directed to that one. So I am the soul. I am the Bhagwan. What's the definition of Bhagwan basically? Definition of Bhagwan means Bhag plus one. Bhag means attribute. Van is a one which holds them. So infinite attribute holder is called Bhagwan. Who has infinite attribute? I have it. I have it. I don't worry about everybody else. I have it. So Nij Paramatma Dravyani Apeksha means I have the perspective with the innate soul substance. And that way I am the God. And that one now, Samaysar 320 stanza gives several adjectives to that one. I'm entirely uncovered, means Sakal Niravaran. I don't have any kind of karma hanging around with me to take. They are all removed, means destructing karmas are all gone, and soul has shined its all perfect knowledge, perfect perception, bliss, and happiness. So I am Sakal. Sakal means completely. Niravan means no obstruction. So no obstruction completely. Means unobstructed. Means the karma are not obstructing soul's shining. So first one is Sakal Niravan. Second, he says direct perception. I am pratyaks. Until now, for example, when we are talking soul is there, soul is eternal, soul has a attribute, soul has a mode and everything. But those are indirect way of our learning. We learn from the scripture, we learn from our guru, we learn from the omniscient Lord, and those are the things are called paroksh, means indirect. I read it about the nature of the soul. I did not get experience. So it's called paroksh. But now in this Naya, when attention is focused to the eternal soul substance, then I become pratyaks, means I'm experiencing my soul directly without any other help, without any help of scripture, without help of guru, without help of omniscient Lord. Number 3, perceiving exactly like the object means pratibhasmai. Pratibhasmai means what? Remember, there is a mode of the knowledge over here. Knowledge is a mode over here. This knowledge mode has an extreme important act to do. It perceives the alien objects within, and it also illuminates my eternal soul substance. So my eternal soul substance is perceived in my knowledge mode, and that is called pratyaks pratibhasmai. Number D, non-destroyable. Now it is avinashvar. Avinashvar means eternal soul substance was non-destroyable, but now I experience myself directly without any other help of anything else. So it's a avinashvar. It's a supreme, pure, eternal soul substance with the Suddha Parinamic Bhav. Suddha Parinamic Swarup. Quality of supreme nature means Param Bhav Lakshan. These are the adjectives given in stanza 320 of Samaysar, and Gurudev, when he talks about it, he goes in an absolute great mood when he talks about it. He just turns himself into kind of he just experiences and he's talking. So it's a unique thing to listen to that gatha and understand what Gurudev want to say about it. So this is characteristic of Param Suddha Nishayani. And
Kirit uncle?
Yes.
In another gatha it says Eka Shuddha Sada Arupi. So Sada Arupi ne kevi na samjho, and is it similar to one of these words?
Yeah, Sada Arupi means always. Sada means always. Arupi means it is innate form. Arupi means not a rupee, not form. It's a formless. So soul is a formless. Form means this pencil has certain shape, so it's called form. This scissor has certain shape, so it has form. This book has a certain shape, so it's called form. But soul does not have any form at all. It's without any form. It's called a rupi. Rupi means to be seen. Arupi means non-seen. So sada. So 38 stanza also will speak the same way. 73 stanza will talk the same way, and 320 stanza also will talk the same way. But this is the Samaysar Gatha 320 actually was an end of Samaysar. Samaysar was ending at 320 stanza. So that's why it was very important. And then other stanzas came, and so there are total 415 stanza. But that's why this is one of these supreme stanzas. Gurudev always loved this one.
And Param Bhav Lakshan che, and ek Nayak Bhav samjhay?
You can say Nayak Bhav, Param Parinamic Bhav, Suddha Supreme Nature. You can give whatever adjective you want to use for this eternal soul substance, you can throw that thing. But here, now I experience, pratyaks, I directly I'm experiencing, and I'm engrossed within, and I'm not going nowhere. This is 13 gunsthanak, and thereafter 14 gunsthanak, and thereafter Siddha Bhagwan. All those things, this adjective goes to them, to those souls, you know. And then coming, how to accept it? Well, I have nothing, I don't see anything except pure soul. That's it. My Gnan, Gnata, and Gnay means Gnan means knowledge, Gnata means knower, and Gnay means object of knowledge. The three become one now. My one Samaysar, my mode of the knowledge mode, pure mode, it's called Gyan. What does it do? It does the function of knowing. So Gyata. And whom does it know? Not the alien objects, they're gone. It is just experiencing my eternal soul substance. So Gnan, Gnata, Ge is having unity. And so there is supersensuous bliss and omniscient knowledge occurs. So the 13, 14 Gunsthana. So these are the way it happens. All the 4 Nai that we know this one, we just went a little bit faster only because we know all these things. Important thing was to have proper footing on the convention point of view, because those are occurring a little bit more complicated. Here, it's straightforward. 4 divisions: impure partial point of view, partial purity point of view, complete purity point of view. Those 3 are the modes. Ragvesh ni paryay, Samyak darshan ni paryay, and moksha ni paryay. So these were all modal effect, modal things. And last one, this one we are talking Param Suddha Nishchayani, that is occurring because that's an innate, eternal, true nature of the self. And when I get engrossed, then my knowledge, my capacity to know, and object of knower, they all become one. And that is Param Suddha Nishchayani. So if ultimately, if I have to go, from all this Nai, I want to find it out, where should I go and what happens. So let me just bring the other slide right now. Hold it. Stop share. And one second, bear with me, please. No. Okay. Okay, so now we are coming back to this partial point of view. This slide, I want to bring it here, last slide, basically. So what happens here? Just summarizing whatever we did for last 6 or 8 weeks. Basically, it's a partial point of view. Nai. One is absolute point of view, which we discussed today. In absolute point of view, there is, from substance perspective, when we look at it, there is a Param Suddha Nishchayani. Means Nai for the supreme pure soul. That is from the substance perspective. Then there is a paryaya apeksha, mean modal perspective, that we found it out. 3 things that we discussed today: Suddha Nishchay Nahi, Ekdesh Shuddha Nishchay Nahi, and Asuddha Nishchay Nahi. So all these things are called absolute point of view, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 Nayas are over here that we talked today. What we have done in the past, we have seen these 4 things: conventional point of view, having a Upcharit Asadbhut Vyavahar Nahi, money, car, house, family belongs to me, that is this Nahi. Literal, impure synthetic point of view, body is mine, that is this Nahi. Then pure synthetic conventional point of view, Sadbhut Vyavahar, Upcharit Sadbhut Vyavahar Nahi means I have the rag and dvesh occur within me, that is number 3. And 4th one, that I have the knowledge attribute, I have perception attribute, I have conduct attribute. Those kind of division into the undivided attribute that we talk, this is that Nai. So these are the things that we have gone in extreme detail. These are the one we did today. What do I have to do? When I'm in the literal pure synthetic point of view, I have to now direct my attention to Param Suddha Nishchay Nahi, and that will create purity within me. Over here also, this from modal perspective, Asuddha Nishchay Nahi, Ekdesh Shuddha Nishchay, Shuddha Nishchay Nahi, and ultimately I have to draw my attention over here. When I do that one, this is my ultimate things. This is what I'm getting it. So when we talk Nau Tattva in Asuddha Nishchay Nahi, there's a Punya, Pap, Asra, Bandh. Ekdesh Shuddha Nahi, Samvar, Nijra. Shuddha Nishchay Nahi, Moksha. But those are the modes, modification. When I go to the Param Shuddha Nishchay Nahi, bring my attention to that one, then I have achieved what I have to achieve. This is a partial point of view, tells us in great detail that we learned so far. So what we have to do now, having this kind of base ready for us, now we are ready to go to the stanza, the 11th stanza, which is really one of the another important stanza that we have it. Reason we took a long time, and I'm aware of our speed going slow and everything, because otherwise 11th stanza we will get totally lost. Even if we know all these things right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 convention point of view, 11th stanza will talk totally different way. That language will be totally different. But at least we have the idea where we are in this kind of situation. And so when we go through the next stanza and everything, it will give us a lot more meaning that what we are talking in 11th stanza. Actually, until 16th stanza and Samaysar is over. So, only 16th stanza and Samaysar is over. But to understand that one deeper and deeper, Acharya Bhagwan thereafter has written 415 stanza, expansion of all the facts. So those are the things that we have to understand. And I know I had to take little speed over here, not because of anything else, but we know this part. And again, we are going to go in, when we go through the stanza, all these things will come back again. But now these things in our memory, we know this one, what happens. And so it will be easier to digest those facts. If there is any question, we can entertain some question. We have 10 minutes, but I wanted to finish this one today for sure, because important thing where convention point of view. Absolute point of view is, what do you talk when there is purity? Then nothing more. Suppose you are in the high school and the grade school, you always get A+, super A+. How do you describe that student? Nothing. He's a genius, period. But these are the guys, these are the dabba guys, that they are not complete, and so it needs a lot more explanation to talk to them. While we are on this slide, I'm going to throw one thing, that Asuddha Nishchay Nahi what we talked about Asuddhi Nishchay nahi, we just said my rag and dvesh, when I look at it, that means it's a Asuddhi Nishchay nahi. Same thing in the pure synthetic convention point of view, rag and dvesh are over here too. So if you look from convention point of view, rag dvesh sits over here, and in Upcharit Sadbut Vyavahar nahi. And if we talk from absolute point of view, rag dvesh is sitting in the Asuddhi Nishchay nahi. So what angle am I looking for? Am I making understanding from absolute point of view or from convention point of view? So those are the things that we have to understand. Yes, this ninth chapter is...
Kirit uncle,
Yeah.
you talked about the Ragdesh saying that Samaysar thinks of it one way and we are thinking of it a different way. So I'm just in this photo, in this picture here, I think Samaysar thinks of it as number 3, and in generic discussion, you think of it as number A. Is that correct?
Well, no, see, this is the eternal soul substance, right? Over here, let me bring the pen over here. So this is the eternal soul substance, I have it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I also have impurity within me because I accept that impurity occurs within me. So this guy says that, okay, you are my impurity. I need to take them down.
Okay.
But when I said, wait a second, I also in my daily existence, routine existence, I blame it to the convention point of view. Because of you, I have a rag and dvesh. Because of this pen, I have a rag and dvesh. Because my phone is not working, the rag and dvesh. So I bring the alien objects into the picture. This guy's here, absolute point of view, does not bring anything in the picture.
Okay.
It says, I am only the one. But when we want to bring alien objects, then this guy says, hey, rag dvesh are occurring because you are looking at me. So this guy says that I'm not looking at anybody. I am the creator of those things. Yeah.
So then the rag dvesh is not part of a pure supreme soul.
Because
it's not rag and dvesh.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to confirm that pure soul, pure Sudatma, does not have rag and dvesh.
Yes.
And even if you think you have it, it's not really the pure soul. Number A is not really the pure soul, right? So I just want to make sure that rag and dvesh is part of some material thing, either with body or some other matter, but it's not part of the soul. That's what I'm just trying to confirm.
Remember, yeah, it is part of the soul. Remember, we are using perspective. What perspective I'm using? That I want to take responsibility of my own act, then I can say rag and dvesh are occurring within me. This guy occurred within me from absolute point of view.
Right.
But when I want to blame the alien object, because since time infinite in the past, my attention is drawn to the alien object. So whenever I draw my attention to the alien object, then rag dvesh occurs because I drew my attention to the alien object. Here, there is no alien object. It is my own weakness. So out of all this slide, only the thing we have to understand is this Asuddhi Nishchay nahi and this Upcharit Sadbut Vyavahar nahi, because they both are same. Both are same in the sense, rag dvesh is there. Over here, I take responsibility. Over here, it's occurring because I had the attention focused somewhere else.
Okay, so then I'm not asking my question correctly. I think I understand what you're saying. What my question is, so if I'm the pure soul, and I understand number 3, so forget about number 3. It's due to outside, things. So forget about that.
Yeah.
If I'm a pure soul, I should say that rag and dvesh is irrelevant to me. It is not part of my soul.
because it's transient in nature and because it occurs when I direct my attention to the alien object. So it's my own fault that I'm creating rag and dvesh.
So you're saying,
yeah.
So you're saying in A, the fault is my own and not somebody outside. I get that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I want to understand, like karma is a particle, a substance, right?
Yeah.
Rag and dvesh is like a emotion, inclination. Is that inclination part of my Sudatma or not part of my Sudatma?
Inclination is part of you as a soul. Now, is it pure or impure? It all depends from what angle we are looking. If you are looking for rag dvesh only, then rag dvesh belongs to me, and that's why it's an absolute point of view. But over here, we bring the outside alien object as a nimit also into the picture. So this brings somebody else also in the picture, but ultimately rag dvesh are occurring within me for sure. That's what it is. So
the inclination is something that the soul is doing.
Yes, soul is doing by its own way, yes.
Okay. An impure soul is doing.
No, the soul is doing, that's it. But the impure, pure, you don't have to worry about it. I did the impurity within me. I'm the responsible for that. That's it.
Okay, fine. I see. Okay.
So these are the things, and next week onwards, we will start with the 11th stanza. And again, believe me, it will, we have to go, we have to slow down there also, because it is going to be, whatever we talk so far, I can assure you, nothing will come from this slide. They have a 11th stanza, when it talks conventional point of view, is totally soul dependent. They'll be talking here. Yeah.
Can you also discuss a little bit more about, you made a statement that rag dvesh is a jeev.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rag dvesh, number one, when I have a rag dvesh, and I also have knowledge more, right? So rag dvesh occurred within me, right? Number one, okay. Knowledge mode is also occurring within me, right? Yes. Knowledge mode is doing function of knowing. Knowledge mode is a capacity to know self and alien object. That's why knowledge mode is very important. But when we talk rag dvesh occurring within me, rag dvesh is no knowledge. There's no consciousness in rag dvesh. Because it's having no consciousness present in rag and dvesh, because rag and dvesh is not the nature of the eternal soul substance. So they're transient in nature, number one. And how are they created? When I brought attention to the alien object. If you don't look at the alien object, you won't have rag and dvesh at all. Aryan Bhagwan, he is engrossed in his own pure state. Kevali Bhagwan is engrossed in his own pure state. There is no rag dvesh. But when the rag dvesh occurs, first thing, it has no consciousness. That's why they are non-living. And second thing, they only occurs when I draw attention to the alien objects. Rag dvesh cannot occur if I don't draw the attention to the alien object. And that's why rag dvesh's origin is due to fruition of karma present. And because fruition of karma is part of this deal, and that's why this rag and dvesh is accused to be non-living, or accused to be a pudgal. Two ways. One is rag dvesh occurs within me, but it is rag dvesh has no capacity to know. So that's why it's non-living. Jad. And second thing, it occurs because of the fruition of the old karma, which is also matter, and that's why rag dvesh are called non-living, or they are called matter. Rag dvesh does not have, I repeat, rag dvesh does not have knowing capacity, but they are occurring within me, so I have to accept that part. But they have no knowledge, and they always occur because attention is focused to the alien object. So that's why ragdvesh are called alien belonging, or ragdvesh are called pudgal. Remember, this is pudgal. This pen is pudgal, but this pen is a pudgal, means it has a spars, ras, gandha, varna, all those characteristics are there. Ragdvesh does not have touch, taste, smell, and color, etc. But we call them in a matter, we call them non-living because they are occurring because I drew my attention to the alien objects. That's why. Whole thing, if you look at the whole slide, the only the thing which becomes important is these two Nai, that they are related to Rag and Dvesh, these two guys. That's all we have to think about it, you know, to understand, to go to the Param Suddha Nishchane. You know, this slide that I have shared with you, go through it. Take your own time. I mean, listening is one thing, but one has to put his or her own effort to understand, because lots of information is there. And if there is none, you can always throw email or whatever, call, and we can just discuss further. But I think you all have a pretty good understanding so far that we talked all this thing for last 2 months, 2.5 months maybe, on just Nai only, because this is very important.
Kirit uncle, I have a small yes or no question. I think it's easy. અહીંયા 8 નઈ છે, આપણે એકવાર 7 નઈ ની વાત કરી હતી, 47 નઈ માંથી 7 નઈ. So is there any relation? ઈ 7 નઈ ને 8 નઈ, anything? No.
These are called Adhyatma Nai, and they are called Agam Nai.
Okay.
They are called scriptural partial point of view. This is the spiritual partial point of view. So this Nai chakra, this whole slide, it is called Adhyatma Nai. Adhi means near, Atma means soul. So this is the things occurring in the soul. Those
Actually, આપણે જે 7 નઈ લીધી એમાં નિશ્ચય અને વ્યવહાર નહીં આવે છે, એટલે એનું વધારે ડેવલપ વિશેષ વાત કરી, ઈ આધ્યાત્મિક નહીં, એવું થયું?
Yes, yeah. Actually, they say that you know, a partial point of view, Nai, you can get, it is like a so complex and so complicated that it may take hours and hours and days for one to understand those things. But once the understanding occurs, it will never come out. And that's why we have to have absolute clarity about conventional point of view, absolute point of view, and time to time, in next stanza onwards, all those things will come heavily. Heavy bombardment will be there. But we are ready.
અને આ તમે જે attention ની વાત કરી કે પર લક્ષી attention, એને જુદી રીતના કેવું હોય ઇંગ્લિશમાં, તો we're not recognizing our true nature.
Yes.
So there's lack of recognition of our true nature is the reason for rag dvesh.
Rag dvesha, because we have taken our attention to the alien objects. My job, sugar will give sweetness no matter where that sugar is. Then soul is also having to have capacity to stay in innate form, but with my own weakness, I have created all this situation here, you know, in the night. So these are the understanding purpose, and once we understand, then it becomes much easier to digest this Samaysar, because Samaysar it's not a simple scripture that anybody can walk out and just say, oh yeah, I read it out. No. In one word alone, Gurudev has given 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 lectures sometimes, you know. I mean, in 320 stanza, Gurudev has about 25 to 28 lectures are there. Only 2 lines only. Because those are the heart of the Samaysar, you know. Okay, if there is no question, can we do closing, please? Okay. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, सोवाणी मस्तक नमो सदा देत हूँ तो 9 times नमो का मंत्र. Namayantanam. Thank you.
Chandrakam.
Okay. Bye.